Okay, it's 8:30. So good morning to all of you again. Very glad to see you all. Right. Very happy to see familiar faces again after some time. So we met where? When we discussed about still so we had some very nice time there. And indeed, we have this nice time here. And now we are familiar with each other, how we work, and things are like that. Right. So first, I introduce you to the course and what I'll be delivering to you and what you can expect. And then particularly I'll be explaining to you how the assessments will be made. Again, it will be quite very similar to what we discussed or what we did in package-based data. But rest assured, it will be much easier if you work with me during the sessions. Right? I'll guide you what you need to do. Don't worry. Okay. So first thing what you need to do is please go to this course page. Are you able to access this course page? Yeah, good. Accessible, right? So just check whether you can access this. I just set it up in the morning because it was there and then I put up. But I put all the materials at our lunch. So just see whether you could access. If you could access, that's great. You cannot access, then you see what we could do. Right. Then you can see there are several sections, particularly attendance and a lot of other things are there. So we take attendance also. And then you can see that there's a section on course outline. And then under course outline, there's this BSAA 32034 package-based data analytics. That's the course outline. Can you download it? And shall we open it? Please download it and open it. Right. It's under course outline. So this is the course outline. Let me look at the contents here first of all. So you can see it's the course name is package-based data analytics. As you can see, they did the course code and it's a 4-credit course. 4 credit means 60 hours. We'll have 4 hours each for 50 weeks. We'll have 50 hours of direct content hours. It's a major course. And then it's an elective. So if you want, you could do it. If you don't want, you can do something else, which I have no idea what something else is. So just check with the management. At the beginning, I was told that there are some variants, like some kind of data analysis project or something. Right. I don't know what's going on with that. Right. So therefore, it was about 2-3 years back. Right. I was told about that kind of some other alternative, but I don't know what's going on with whether even if it is offered, I don't. And so just check that. Right. So this is an elective. So elective means you can elect from different options. So feel free to explore those options as well. And if you're interested, you could. There's no compulsion from my side, at least. For the management side, I don't. So then these offer in semester 2, And at the end of this course, what you'll be able to do? So these are things you'll be able to do. You'll be able to do any kind of data access, right? Almost all mainstream data analysis you will be able to do. We are going to discuss all kinds of data analysis that you could apply, and you can do. You can do quantitative particular and also time permitting from qualitative data analysis. That's it. So all kinds of quantitative data analysis you will be able to do. So you will be able to do descriptive analysis. You will be able to do correlation analysis, regression, even structural equation model. Because this world is in parts. Now it's going with data analysis. So we have another degree also called what? Business analytics. Right. So I think my perception is that these kind of courses should have been made compulsory. Because why? Because of the importance of data analytics. Business analytics, data analytics, and other kinds of things are going on. So therefore, we need to understand and apply. As I told you, that these days, right, powerful now on the digital business strategy, we discussed this one. The graduate requires these four types of things. What are the four types of things that they require? Knowledge, skills, the mindset, and hustle. What's up? That knowledge, skills, mindset, and attitude. Now here, this is coming under what? Knowledge and skills. So these days, right, a business graduate, an accounting graduate should require what? Data and skills. And if the graduate is unable to apply data and skills, then that graduate is not relevant. We are talking about even AI, how to integrate AI with data. So massive transformation is taking place. It's already started, and with AI and other things, it's getting more intense. So therefore, getting this knowledge is going to be really important. So those days I could remember at Java University, we introduced this data analytics kind of source, which was optional at that time. Then out of 200 or 200 started doing it. The other optional courses, no one was doing it. Then what they did was what? They made it compulsory. Okay. So I think moving ahead, these courses will be made compulsory because it's important for all students. Right? At least not to be successful, but at least to survive in the future. Therefore, I think it's a very timely move that we offer these types of courses. And that's why the main idea, the overall learning objective is to do that. Equip you and provide you the knowledge and skills in data analytics. And we are going to discuss a host of data analytics, but again, rest assured, I'm not going to teach you any formula. All will be done using software. So I'm going to introduce you to a very powerful software called Scale. Earlier it was SPSS that we used, but when I compare Stata and SPSS, these are two software that we would use for data analysis. You can see that Stata is much more powerful than SPSS. And you'll see why. And I'll teach you why, and I'll even, in fact, it's a paid software. Then I go to Stata and I told that my undergraduates require this software. So can you provide it free of charge? And they indeed agreed to provide it free of charge. So I'll tell you how to get that software itself. And the best thing in that software is that you don't need to install it. You don't need to install that software. You can download the installed files, which I'll give you. Put that in a pen drive and run the software from a pen drive. So maybe you have an office laptop. In office laptops, are you allowed to install other software? Office laptop there is no other software done. But this one you don't need to install. Just insert a pen drive. With the software run, I tell you how to do it. The top of the software, well, first of all, I said, pension government. Then I have created a Google Drive. with the files. Just download that zip file, unzip that in your office laptop. There it's not allowed to use pen drives. So there is no any reason why we should not run same. But SPSS, it requires what? You have to install. And also, SPSS, there is no education version. I also wrote to them and asked them, please give my students an education version. They are quite greedy. They did not give that. But later, they gave the education version for 6 months. It works. And again, another for 6 months, they will do that. Every 6 months, they will give me new license, which I'll be very happily sharing with my new students. So it's perfect. Perpetual means it doesn't expire. It will expire, then it take one class. As a matter of within a couple of hours, they send me the new class. So on behalf of my students, I did that because if not, if you are purchased that, it's expensive. But data, okay, let's see a basis again. Okay, so data you don't need to install. Data you don't need to install, and I'll be giving you that package, and I today itself will be sure we have computers. So you need to have computers, but don't worry today if you don't have computers, that's not a problem. But I encourage you to bring computers. Ideally, you should have got the computer center, but the again set is factory thoughts, other subjects that are already mentioned. So therefore, please bring your laptops. And if you don't have a laptop, don't worry. Get along with another student who has a laptop and we'll work as two. I do understand. I do very well understand that. I do very well understand that. Not all to be able to bring their laptops, number one, because some people might be coming from very far away places, and then the night you're going to carry laptops along with school part not to stay. And the other thing is some of you might be using desktops at your house. So desktop will be very for all desktop like getable. I don't want to this moody desktop, like it's like even smaller than laptop. Being plastic. But unique. But again, some desktops are also there that are very small, but again, usually a desktop would be large. So we were able to target something but the power gap we have put again, so it will be required. So therefore, rest assured, it's not compulsory to have a laptop, but I encourage you to speak with a person as a group who has a laptop, then you can work together. But on the other hand, I will try my level best to request computer labs from there. But the problem is already computer is accounting course, so they require. Then what because But I think we'll see what we could do. But rest assured, don't worry. You don't need a laptop for yourself. You can, in fact, sit with people who have and share. And it will be group work. That is, you know, I have the assessment when I do. So it will be group work. I think that individual work I cannot give you individual work because you need to have a laptop. If I give you, right, I'm going to give you an individual work, then you should have an individual laptop. But I know here, all are not going to be done. And I would expect to do so as well. Perfectly fine. You sit with the group of the spontaneous groups with the person who has that's more than right. So overall learning outcomes would be you will have thorough knowledge of data analysis. Like you'll be able to create your research papers, you need to apply that in your own life or in business. So after that, it's what, and also what you'll understand statistics, you'll understand data analysis. you'll understand how to apply that in research as well. I think you all have a research project that you have to visit for us. So in the research project, you can apply these skills. Therefore, even what I told was even there are students who are doing the optional subjects, the other elective, please come and sit here. And you can learn. Then you can register for that subject. I don't know what's not going on with that. I don't know. Now, it was different results. And I'm also interested with, I'm the selective, so why I should be interested in some other electives. And the so, but just check the option. But on the other hand, even if you are doing an elective, you are very much welcome to again study stuff. Although you might not be doing that for the exam. But come for this and study. In case if you are doing some of it. I don't know about that. Just check with the balance. Right. So that's about the learning outcomes, thorough knowledge in data analysis. Right. We'll be discussing that. And application, particularly not only theory. And here you'll understand that we have to use software. So you don't need to remember any formula. Just to generate statistics and make decisions. Using the software, I teach you how to generate the statistics, generate the different kind of matrices, and make decisions. Finally, it will be decision making for research purposes as well as for managerial purposes. So it's like data analysis for decision making, for research and management. So therefore, I think it should be a very important course. You are going to go for advanced level of data analysis, which I think all will be indeed different. We will start from here. Right. So that's what we are going to cover mainly. And then, as I told you, different kind of analytics we'll be discussing. So you can see the course content. So descriptive statistics, correlation, regression, t-test, one-way ANOVA. Likewise, we'll be discussing with simple examples. We'll be discussing those things. Right. Now comes, so that will end what we are going to discuss. Now comes the what? Assessment part, which is, I don't know, these are not again, with all due respect, these are not again prepared. These prepared by experts and given us to be taught. So I have to do it. I have to do that. So you can see the assessment also will be, it's quite very similar to digital business strategy, although the content is different. You can see here, first there will be an individual report. Yes, an individual report will be there. And then there will be a group report, group presentation, and then classroom LMS activities, and then the final exam. So final exam is set to 50%. Then CA, continuous assessment, is 50%. That 50% consists of, there will be an individual report. Right? Again, I will follow the same format for what I did for digital business strategy. Right? I will give you an individual report that can be extended to a group report. Again, in the digital business strategy, I don't know the the digital business strategy ke මොකද අපි කරේ අපි ඉස්සෙල්ලාම what did we do? I allocated you individual companies and revenue. Then out of that, we selected one company for that group work and revenue. And we format it up. And here it's much more easier because why? Because here you can create your own company, bogus company, bogus scenario. I'll give you an example for it. Data, you don't need to collect any data, you can create. We call that bogus. You create your own data. Right? It's another this one, this is not really recorded. It's how the people are some years back, I asked the students to collect data. It was hard to collect, isn't it? Go to company and collecting data, that was not possible. You can do that, but it takes a long time. Now, then what I propose, why we should bother the student? And however, the data also was not correct again, knowing here now. Correct only know and why I should make them do something that's not ethical. So why not ask them to create it? So you can create one day. Just put some data in Excel and then let's do data. That's all. And then you can analyze the techniques that I teach you in the class. Right? In the individual assignment, you have to do partial using descriptive step. Just to describe individual assignment. Then the group assignment, maybe in your group, maybe there are 6 people. Out of that, select one group assignment and take it as the group. Apply advanced assignment, like correlation, prediction, detail, like that. That's what you will have to do on the individual assignment as well as group. So, in fact, you don't need to go out and get any data. Right? You don't need to collect any data, you can click on. Just you have to place which I said you out. So that's about the group report and group presentation. So then you will be presenting the same thing. So you don't need to do 2 group assignments, one group report. That will be the report will be there and you will be presenting. That all the guidelines are there. Even now, if you go, the guidelines are there. There, I have uploaded the guidelines, which I'll tell you from my slate. Now, no point in that because you want get it absolutely. Then there will be classroom activities. Of course, 5 classroom activities. I will give you 10 classroom activities. Out of that, I will be taking 5, which is the requirement of your course, right? And the normal, while the classroom activities. You might be other people who are doing exercises, so you will be getting 10 just as you pay for, but I don't get anything out of that. But again, these are requirements that I have to do. Classroom activities. So classroom activities, the rate should be 10%. Out of 5, so 2 each. But I'll be giving you about 10-15 activities. Out of that, I'll be taking 5. So if you don't come, what happens? You lose marks. So makeup, no, there's no makeup because there's classmates. So if you are not there, you don't get it. So therefore, I encourage all of you to take part actively in the lectures, and I'm going to take out of that 5. Right. And again, now since I cannot expect all of you to have laptops, so it will be classroom activities for every group basis. So one person could bring a laptop and then do the analysis on group as group. The group can be any group, and that thing, the spontaneous group. You don't need to have the original group that you form for the group assignment or not that. You can have spontaneous made up groups at home, right? So probably that will be the case, I think, for the assignments, group assignments, because I will not be able to bring all laptops. Indeed, I don't expect that as well. People who carry this laptop, please bring that, and you can work as a team. So that's going to be about the classroom activity that's it. Right. So that's about the course. And we are going to discuss all, and particularly in terms of software, we are going to use 2 powerful software. One is called Stata, which I'll introduce this. And then there's another software called Smart Fields. 2 excellent state-of-the-art commercial. Again, it's dependent on charge. Like both software applications, Smart Fields, there's the limited version, but it's operation. But only at the end you require Smart. But Stata will be starting from 3. And then I'll ask you to bring your laptops next week. And look at the sponsor and things that I do. Today I'll be showing up what's from your phone. So these are the course and these are how we have to assess. Any questions? Are you going to ask me questions? Clarification. What are the questions we have? Did you understand what we did? What I told? What are the questions? One question. Ooh, but we'll need 15 weeks for each. What are the questions? Questions are on. Right. Okay, so what we'll do is then we'll continue our discussion. And if you do have any questions, you can ask me. And I will already, the limits about the limits, the assignment guidelines are there. Right. So if you go to the limits, right. So go to the bottom. The deadlines are different, right? This I have just set some deadlines which we need to update. Here you can see individual assignment guide, individual and group assignment guide. So on the link number 15 is there. If you are interested, you can see that. Just download and please read carefully. It says, read carefully. So I have given all detailed guidelines. What you need to do exact. How many variables you have to create, bogus variables, bogus data. Okay. You guys see individual and group assignment. So it's basically a comprehensive data analysis project. The best thing is that you can create your own data. You can create your own scenario. You can create your own data and start. That's all. Now, for example, last time the students, some of the students, they take financial literacy. Financial literacy, what's the level of financial literacy, and what are the factors impacting financial literacy of students. Likewise, different scenarios, made up scenario. So that's what is required, and here SPSS is mentioned, but you don't need to use it. SPSS, we are able to use data. And these kind of scenarios, now for example, analyze the factors including investors' risk tolerance. As investors, what are the factors impacting their risk? Then assessing the effect of managing overconfidence on the issue. Some managers are overconfident. So what are the factors impacting on that? Studying financial literacy on spending behavior among young adults like you. So how financial literacy matters? So we have this is something called impulsive buying behavior. So people impulsively buy things, particularly young adults like you. So what factors contribute to that kind of impulsive buying? Anything. So here under the individual assignment, what's required is given. You have given a small questionnaire. And of course, you can use ChatGPT for those things. Even if I don't say don't use ChatGPT, you use it. And be my guest. What I require is to see whether you can analyze data. Right? This is not a research methodology course. We have research methodology. Yes, you need to love like to the core. So there you have to come up with an original question. But here you can use ChatGPT, create questions and put your own data. Start there. And what I require is whether you can analyze the data. That's it. My requirement is not to whether you can create questionnaires, whether you can collect data or not. My requirement is to see whether you can analyze data properly to achieve certain objectives. So questionnaire development, those things I have given you. And then comes the group compound. There you have to go and take the same case and expand it to a group. This is there you will be doing some more analysis. That's what is required. And all the information is given with even some examples. So that's there. So you could refer to them and you can see how it works. Right. And I'll be setting the group presentation, the report submission and presentation on the last day of the semester. Week before last will be the individual assignment submission. But individual assignment submission week before last, then the last week will be your group report and So when is going to be your semester end? The semester beginning is semester end කතා කරනවා. ආරම්භයේ කතා කරන තිබ්බ අවසානයේ කතා කරනවා. නේද? So shall we see? Sashanika had shared that with me. Your 16D W and 18A EX. How come? என்னங்க போறாங்க யாரு வடல இட்டு ஃபேமிலி லெக்கமோ நீங்க மாட்டீங்க. I was so happy to see you. Right. Okay. So this was the semester schedule given to me. All semester schedule like pattern that does even as well. Okay, let's then decide the deadlines as well. Right. So you can see this is package-based data index. That's me. And yes, we are starting at so nice Saturday, bright Saturday, sun shining out, right? Birds chirping, and people are very happy. Right? Okay. Then things are going on like this. Next week towards we are going to meet. Then comes the last day. Months. September, is it? September, we are going to finish our FX. Now, if you look at the last day is September 13th. My subject is September 13th. What are we doing? Within September. Yeah, September 13th is a nice Saturday evening. Right? So that will be the last day. So September 13th is the last day. On September 13th, we shall do the group presentation. Right? Otherwise, decide karume. You know what we have to do exactly. September 13th, we will do the group presentation. September 13th. So September 13th will be the group presentation. September 12th, midnight, you submit a report. Right? September 12th, that's a nice Friday. So Friday midnight, you submit the report, and 13th, you do the presentation. And you don't need presentation slides. Just present the report. Report I present karana. Slides are shared. No slides report. That's also big relief, isn't it? Right. So I'm going to set the deadlines, and then September 6th, we'll set the individual assignment submission. Let's make it September 5th. September 5th, right? The individual report submission midnight. I'll set the deadlines. Don't worry. We have Matatiaga known there. Dharma Gilla, our report together. Clear. So I'm going to go to LMS, and here it's about individual assignment. So individual assignment, September 5th, midnight. September 5th, midnight is, I believe, yes, September, July, September. September 5th is a Friday. So Friday midnight, we'll set the individual assignment. So let's make it September 5th. Date September 5th. Midnight. That's great. I have to go to the LMS, it's there. But no, they do not have done. Okay. With the group assignment submission is on September 12th. September 12th, midnight, the group report has to be submitted. And on September 13th, you can do the process. So I put a note there. It will be the deadline will be on 12. Presentation. Third. Okay, so I think it's very now clear what we have to do. The deadlines are also set. I think there's only be any results there. Right? I thought make a thousand of things you get marathon then more of the photo. You know, the associate data, the security, you know, nothing well. Should have got the security. Now everything is there, so I think it's clear. And I help you to again develop this. It's not difficult at all. What you need to do is you have to follow and you have to just create a scenario. To create a small case, a bogus case, a fictitious case, a made up case. Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's about the assignments and assessments and what we are going to cover. Right. So now we shall see, we shall go here. And let me now help you, right? Just below the course outline, you can see here, there's something called Stata download. So this is the place where you can download the original software Stata from Stata servers. So it's not tracked, it's not hacked, it's not nothing unethical. So you can directly go and download. So if you go to this download link, you can give the username and the password it's given. And they gave me to give to my students, that's you. And then it will ask the serial number. So give this information and it will allow you to download state. That's method one. You can download and you can install. After you install, it will ask you to activate that. To activate that, this is the serial number again, and this is the code as well as there's an authorization code as well. So give this information and you will have the most updated, most current version of state, which is 19.5. The latest version is 19.5. You can get free of charge. Right? Because I requested them, please provide my good students a license. So they heard me and they are giving that free. If you don't prefer installation, there's another way that you can use the same software. How you can use that? You can go to this, there's another zip file with full installation. Here you don't need to install. What you need to do is, you just download this file, zip file, unzip that into your computer and run Stata. Even if you don't want to put that into your computer, put that to a pen drive and run it from your pen drive. That's the second option that you have. Whatever you prefer. If you prefer to install it, you can use the first option, or you can go to the second URL, download the zip file and run it from anywhere. You don't need to install it. So you can run it from even plus. Then the office laptop is friend and we get download. This is download is the second question actually. But I don't think it won't allow, it wouldn't prohibit anyone to, download certain things. So I think you'll be able to run this software from there. This is the reason I'm not using SPSS. SPSS you need to install. And SPSS has limited capabilities compared to Stata. Stata is a very powerful software. So that's why I encourage you. And I'm teaching this software. Earlier, those days I taught SPSS, but then I understood SPSS is quite limited in features, as well as it's less powerful. There is much more powerful. So why should I teach my students something less? I teach my students something very powerful. That's Stata. Other than that, I don't have anything to do with Stata. I'm not promoting, I'm not saying much of Stata. In fact, I'm posing some problems for them because they have to give a student version too. But this is a full featured version. Works very well, there's no any limitation. Right? So that's how you could get this software free of charge. You don't need to pay anything to anyone. And you can download from the original Stata. So next day, I encourage you to bring your laptops if possible. If you cannot bring laptops, there's no problem. Then get along, group with the person who has a laptop, and you can work as a group. So the individual work will be, in that case, group work. Right? Classroom work is usually individual, but it will become group. No problem. Right. This is clear. I'm giving you a lot of information, and if something is not clear, please ask me. We are no strangers. We worked for almost one complete semester completely. So is everything okay? Then ask me questions, right? Ask me questions, clarify, and then we can apply. Right, next thing. Next thing what we are going to do is we are going to now go to the first slideshow. So you can go to week 1 and download status session 1 introduction. Please download and open that file. The file is a download Colombo. Status session 1 introduction. Give me a moment, you can open the files. Did you download it? Shall we download it? Let's see. Okay. So I hope you open this. Is it okay? Right. So we'll start with data. Right. Here under this data software. So I told you that we'll be using main two software. One is data and then the other one is smart PX. In data, we are going to discuss these analysis. What are the analysis? Descriptive analysis. Descriptive analysis like frequency tables, graphical analysis, etc., etc. Then we'll be discussing correlation analysis, regression analysis, t-test and one-way ANOVA, factor analysis, and non-parametric analysis. So these are the analyses that we'll be discussing under state, the host of analysis. And again, to tell you, you don't need to remember any formula, any equation. Why? Because the software will be doing the calculation and giving you the output, and you have to do what? Just integrate. Just integrate out. That is what is checkpoint. Right. Now, please take down a topic. Right. Please take down your first topic. Statistical package. You don't need to write down anything, but just take down statistical package. Statistical package. Statistical package. Right. Statistical package. Statistical package. Now you can see these are some statistical packages. These are statistical software. Packages again software. Statistical package. Now we have several software. Right? What are software you can see? Data. Indeed. It should be written S capital and all other things should be simple. Because it's a brand. Then we have SPSS, another software. SPSS is another software which is statistical package for social sciences. SPSS, statistical package for social sciences. That's another one. Then there's a package called R. Then there's Minitab. Names like this. Then SAS, system, statistical. Likewise, there are several. Then eViews. Likewise, there are several other packages. These are both statistical packages. Statistical packages. Now, my first question to you. Here I don't see Microsoft Excel. Why is that? Take Excel. Where is our beloved package? Beloved software where we use every second. Excel labs. Who's Excel? What happened with Excel? With all due respect, Excel is not a statistical. That's why it's not listed. So what's Excel? Excel is a general purpose spreadsheet. Excel is a statistical package. Excel is not a statistical package. It's a general purpose spreadsheet package that can do certain statistical computations. Third, limited computations. It can do some limited computations. Compare data. Very limited computations it could do. But again, it's not a statistical package. That's why Excel is not. So Excel is a general purpose spreadsheet package, not a statistical package. Right? That's why it's not here. Why? The topic is what? Statistical software or statistical package. So I think I clarified why Excel is not in this list. Is it clear? Excel can again general purpose spreadsheet package. Excel is a general purpose spreadsheet package. It's not a statistical software. But it can do some statistical calculation. There's an analyst tool pack, and if you invoke that, it will enable the record, protect the correct package. Limited. But the problem is even that limited, statistical computations are not precise. Not accurate. As stated, data are inaccurate. So therefore, we have to understand data is listed there in other design. Right. Then you will see there is now, if you check these packages, some packages are paid packages. You have to pay and verify. And here there is one package that open source. Out of these listing, there is one package which is open source. So open source can be free. You don't need to pay. There is one completely free package. You don't pay a cent for using it. And someone tell me what's that package? What? Even if I will, I'm going to take my phone. Phone again. Type current next day. Tell me last thing. LGBT again. The LGBT again. There will be. This is LGBT. How? You go, I'm going to go, but that's the move. But the reality, you want the day. Okay. I'll put okay. And I'll say open source package. Open source software. Like आपके बच्चे ChatGPT use करने वाले क्यों? In foreign countries, they are very much concerned about calorie intake. They don't want to take additional calorie, additional cholesterol, additional sugar. No. So what they do? What they do? They take a picture of the meal that they have had and ask, "Is this safe? What's the calorie?" That you will calculate the calorie and tell you whether it's safe and whether it's what's the calorie. How is the dog food culture? So I'm an experimenter. මගේ මේසෙදී ඔක්කොම මෙතන තියෙන්නේ. ඒක වැඩ ඒක මේසෙදී වඩා මම ගියා. I went to my living area. My living area එක පිටුරයක් ගැවුවා. පිටුරයක් කරනවා කිව්වා redesign. Took a picture of my living area, my house, and I say I took that GPT and I said redesign. And I took the last design. How it should be designed. Tables here and all that. Here and all that. एक मानव करती है ना मानव करती है बहुत अच्छी तो that's there so what is मानव को मेरी बोलती है हरी उत्तर है so what's the open source for free open source software मानव यहाँ एक दे दीजिए तुरंत what's the open source software so you know it is a right you know screenshot take that so you have a screenshot just certificate just giving the answer the open source software is for free what I couldn't remember this step I know that's so long back मैं कहने को पिछले करता अब क्या होगा what's the open source software the single letter software is the open source software. R is the R, you don't need to pay a cent. R की package देगा, देखकर लगा होने का कोई. This is open source. Open source. R is an open source package. Open source means it's free. It's like some open source spreadsheet packages like this, it's open source. Then why am I not teaching some R? Then I am an art here. It's free. It's free. Why don't I teach? There's a lot. Then it's done. How many is that? Let's say I want to go from here, this Galle from almost north. From Galle to I need to go to Peta. How can I go there? This for sun, right? Also, what they have and below. I want to pray. So what can I do? The hot sun I could go there, right? And I can put oh, I didn't give you a movie. After the on a very good time. It was a look. Young generally, you are by that. Visual standards, maintain visual standards, we have to prioritize. Basing that is I get right. Your way. They say I use level on the yeah. What are my other options? I can take it up. I can take it to visiting. I can take a leaving. Or if I can visit that lady, my focus is good, I could take even a car, a small car. So if it is good, I can take a handle tool and I can take a place and do that test. If I have politician, I could also have taken helicopter. Then I'm there, helicopter, so, but you can see the different options have different difficulty levels, isn't it? Now, in the first option, it was walking, which was at 12 what? 12 p.m., very hot, and I'm walking very uncomfortable. But on the other hand, if I take a look, or a big or even a small car, right? I could have gone to my destination very right? Likewise, R is a software, it's free, but it's very hard to master. You have to write codes. Codes model the other meaning. And that codes usually cannot be removed. And also, it gets stuck. R gets stuck. Oftentimes, it won't work sometimes. It gets. So in fact, I once tried to teach R to my students. Then I understood I should never do it. Why? දෙවිදාස් පන්ති එක මැස්ස විතරයි. මොකද බය අයියෝ R එක. So do I want to hate data analytics or love data analytics? Love data. So then do I use them? R is for advanced learning. Maybe in your master's or probably in PhD level, you can use when you know what you are doing. Because R is not a software that you can master easily. You have to remember the codes. You have to remember the codes, and it gets stuck, and sometimes it gives growth, sometimes very undesirable results. Because it's open source. Some programmers they write some code and they put that as packages, and you run it in that platform. R is a platform. So sometimes it's not properly tested, so it gets stuck. So open source is there. It's not regulated by some of them. Even I could write a code and I could put that as package. It can run in R. So I didn't like it. Because let's say I have in fact I am endowed with 2 kids now, right? Let's say I have children and I want to give education to them. Would I do the best education or the difficult, good but very difficult education? Or the best education possible to my kids? What I will take as a father? Colombo education is not the Galle. Colombo education is the Lanka. For either, then education will take. If I have a father, your fathers will always afford the best one. They will even take a loan, or they will even do 10 or 15 jobs to educate you, to give you the best version of the education. So I'm also a father for you. Your second parents, that's what your teachers are. So I took the option, why should I make my students' life difficult? Why should I take them a difficult path, which they hate, but some they appreciate, but it will be too late in that case? So I took the option to write to Stata, and but on the other hand, Stata, all other packages here need to be paid to be paid. Or there's the other option to be understood. Right. So I'm a person who preaches about ethics and try to at least adhere to the best principles of the religions. So therefore, I did not like a crafting as. So the option was, what's the most powerful, best version? Then I contacted Stata and asked them, can you give my students a free version? And they heard, they thought, okay, we'll give you a 6 months free version. To be renewed after that 6 months again. So it's perpetual. Only thing is I have to write them and get the code and I'll be updating the detail. And you can use it as part that simple. So I took that option because I want my good students the best. Not a buggy, right? Version that gets stuck and gets fucked. But sometimes you will hate the entire data system. Because it gets stuck and it doesn't work. And sometimes it gives some undesirable characters and you don't know what's going on. But once you are quite very advanced in your data analytics, maybe when you're in your PhD, you can try some. But the beginning level, I will be giving you an advanced software very advanced software than SPSS, than any of the software listed here. That's it. The other best thing in Stata, that's why I teach Stata. The other best thing in Stata is it's easy to apply. Now there's another software called Statistica and SAS, particularly SAS. Again, it's a commercial version, but hard to master. Hard to master. But Stata, very powerful and easy to understand. And I'm going to teach you from rock bottom, the most basics, most advanced topics in this. So in your future, even for your PhD, not even your PhD, you can use Stata. SPSS you can use only up to maybe undergraduate, maybe up to certain level in masters. But after that, you won't be able to use SPSS because it has limited function. But Stata, it's marvelous. Stable, expandable, extendable, and even I could write code and run in Stata, which I have done. I wrote several audit commands, my own commands in Stata, and I created that set. Maybe some future day I will launch a course on Stata audit. I wrote my own command. I should do sometimes later because it's so easy to run, create, and do things in Stata. So it's extendable. You can expand. Your imagination only will be your limitation. Okay. Our roles could do that, but not Stata. And if I write only one word in Stata to run a command, I have to write 10 words in R. Who can do that? Would you like to remember commands and run, execute them? I don't think anyone would like. Then there are some R, GUI, graphical user interface in R, very unstable area. I even sometimes I tested, I'm a tester, I'm an experimenter. So I tested blue sky statistics which could run R code 38, my code. The package takes about 2 to 3 minutes to start. The software is not there. It's everything. Well, how long you wait for a website to load? 1 minute? 1 second or 2 seconds. If it doesn't load in 2-3 seconds, you will close it. So likewise, therefore, finally, ethically, right, I'm going to give you the best software that's available on the market, a commercial software, completely free of charge. That's it. So that's why the reason I have selected Stata. 1, being very simple. Number 2, being very easy to understand. So 2 reasons. Why Stata? 2 reasons for why Stata. 1, being very fast. I can open source Basic current Jamoli and like there are some other packages, ASP, like there are some other packages. It is not powerful. Limited. So Stata is very powerful. Number 2, it can be easily understood and applied. Easily understood and applied. It's a commercial package. You have to pay to use that, but for you don't. For teaching purposes, I use the full version is there. And you can. So on behalf of you, I wrote to them and they agreed to be their package. For 6.6.6. That's a general software. IBM SPSS did not use that funds. But I'm glad they did not do that. If not, I would have continued teaching SPSS. And the problem is, compared to Stata, SPSS has limitation. For an example, the best limitation is that in SPSS, you cannot run panel regression analysis. In Stata, you can run any type of regression analysis that you can imagine. You cannot run something, you can write the particular regression and you can ask it. In SPSS, you are not able to do such kind of experience. So that's why I have used what? I have used R for you. Stata for not R, Stata for you. Or in fact, I thought sometimes back, but I understood it was an utter mess. There's a subject of the model state. Because I understood it perfectly. I tried. I gave them a chance. But tried. So again, what are the two reasons why we have to use data? It's very powerful. Number two, it's easy to understand. So those are the two reasons why we are using data. Then why Excel is not there? Excel, again, I give you answer. Why Excel is not there? Why Excel is not there? It's not a spreadsheet. Then what there? It's a spreadsheet file, general purpose spreadsheet file. So we are not interested in that because it has very limited capabilities in statistics. Very limited. But with all due respect, I'm using every minute. Now, for different purposes, we use different things. Right? When it comes to data processing, Excel is the best. And I'll tell you, even here in data, I'm going to use Excel for a certain extent. But when it comes to statistical analysis, you have to use a specialized tool like STEP, which I'll be teaching you throughout, starting from today. Is it clear? Break your account. Also, break your getting the college. All of them, isn't it? You call a family. Now it's 9:40. At 10, shall we give? Okay, please have make a comment. Anything not clear? Do you want to clarify anything? Please do ask. So at 10 a.m., we'll start the next day. Please have for make a comment. Okay. Thank you, Buddha. The dotting of sound. Okay. So thank you for this one person I think who was online. And thank you, Buddha, for everything. Okay. Multiple application. Okay. Okay. So let me again summarize what we did, right, for the recording purposes. So I told you that in the earlier version, what the recommended method? Yeah, if you are going to create a data set in data, what's the recommended method? First create the data file here in Excel and then import that to state. So that's the recommended method. Now let's see how to open Stata, right? But so please take down Stata and please take down before commencing Stata, before starting Stata, it needs to be installed. Before commencing Stata, before starting Stata, before starting Stata, it needs to be installed. It needs to be installed. Wonderful. Because you are running the optional that. I give it here. You want to get use it. So before starting state, it needs to be installed. So how to install? There are two methods as I told you. One, you can install. The other one, you can unzip and use. So I'll tell you first how to install. How to install it? How to install Stata? So go to the LMS and then you can see under the course outline, you can see that there is data download. You can see data download. It's under course outline. Course outline again the data data download. And then go to the first link. Download status report. Download there. Go to this link. Okay. Okay. Then it will take me to this page. If you go to this download link, then it will ask a username. Username and password. Go back to the LMS, and you can see here the username is given. I take that username. Username is given. This is the username. It's in numbers. That as the username. Then it asks what's the password. Password is also given. Then password is also. Then it asks what's the serial number. Serial number is also given. Whether serial number is given. Give these three information: username, password, and the serial number. Liagan Gidrigila Karanda, Labadati on Palapuno, meeting Perkin here. Then say login. Then give your details. Give your name, first name, last name, your organization, you can give whatever. Or you can give just type university, that's enough. Then field accounting, email address, confirm email, About you, country, agree, hello. About you can say you are a student, undergraduate student. You are an undergraduate student, so I am an academic, so I am going to choose an academic. Country, Sri Lanka. Age, below. Then it will give you three versions. 64-bit Windows, and if you have a Mac computer, an Apple computer, then Mac version is there. And if you want Linux, some people might be using Linux computers, which I don't think anyone here would be using, but the Linux version is also there. Linux owner, Linux 50. But I think for majority of you, you could use the 64-bit Windows. That's good enough. Just download. And that's the installation file. That's the installation file. Once you install that, once you download that, install it. It will take some time because it's a large file indeed. But it says now, the number of downloads are exceeded. Download. Don't worry. Then, second option. There are more than enough options to run state. Because the number of downloads have exceeded. Then in that case, go back, go to the limits. Then you can see there is a second link which says data 19.5 zip file with full installation. Right? Do you see that? Just download it. Take a download because I have uploaded it in my server, my Google server. So therefore, no problem. Take one of the download. Go and download that. So I recommend not the first method, the second method. This is the data 19.5 with full installation. Download it. Right? Okay. So go to this file, 19.5. Download. It's in my Google Drive. So download this file. It will ask you for things. And finally, it's around 704 MB, a huge file. So download. It's a zip file. It's a compressed file. And to run state, what you need to do is once you download that, unzip that to any folder and run. That's all what you have to do. Even in your office laptop, you can download this file, unzip the contents to any folder, run. I'll show you how to do it. Right? First, download. It says download. It's getting downloaded. Right, I have already downloaded, so it will take some time. So I will use my own file which I downloaded. Data 19. Within. So once it downloaded, it will look like this. It's a zip file. Then download where it is other and just cancel it. You know how to download. So it will look like this. It will come as data now 19 Then what you need to do is simply unzip the contents, open this file, open this zip file. And it says data 19 and put the contents of this file. I'm going to minimize that. Maybe you can create in your desktop something called maybe data. Create any file name that is good for you. You can say data. Folder. And unzip the content of that zip file into this folder. This is the content of that file. I'm going to unzip all the content. I'm going to drag and drop it here. So it will get copied. What I did was from the zip file, I created a folder on the desktop and I pasted it there. Right? Is it clear? Maybe unzip karana content a desktop पे create करो folder. So it will take some time because there are number of files. There are a number of files. There are, I think, 30,000 of files. What number? Yeah. Our files in a Dundas down. You don't need to install. Just copy and paste. Unzip the contents. That's it. So once you unzip, then go to the folder that you created. Now it's in my desktop. Now it says data 90. Go and open it. Once you open that, you will see there are two exe files. There will be two exe files. Once you unzip the contents, or अपने download करना unzip करना पहले एक दिए ना files that now exe files they got saved. You will see that there are two exe files. Can you see that? One file is known as data VP64exe. The other file is known as data SC64exe. एक आप DE अनित के SC. These are some names. Right? What are the two files? Stata BE and Stata SE. Stata BE and Stata SE. Stata. Make a pronounce karate. When you pronounce this one, Stata is not start. I'm going to start with that's wrong pronunciation. That's Stata. That's Stata. Don't worry. I'm not going to ask you to pronounce it. Stata BE and Stata SE. We are not interested in SE. We are interested in DE. So you have to double click on DE. DE will double click on the Stata. Now to open Stata, what you need to do is you need to go to Stata BE and double click on SE click on. Now to open Stata, you need to click on Stata BE. Not that. To open Stata, click on this. Double. Bigger. BE, not SE. SE is a different version. It won't work. Without error message, if you are trying to run SE, it will give an error message. We are running BE. Right. So I'm going to do that for you. So go to, and if you want, I also recommend, if you want to open it again and again and again, what can you do? Then make another open put a desktop shortcut. Create a desktop shortcut. Then you don't need to come back to this inside this folder and click on this file. Right? So create a shortcut. Go to BE, right click on that, and say what? Create a shortcut. Add to favorites, even pin to start. Pin to start color. The shortcuts then send to my phone. Pin to start, add to favorites. You can even add to favorites, no problem. What we'll do is you right click on that and you say pin to start. Also, I will pin to start and add to favorites. So it will be, right, I'll show you what happens after. Or what you can do is if you want to start, you just come here and click it. Okay. Now, if you double click, what you can do is once you run it once, you have to run it once. After that, you can search in Windows and you can run it. Then go to BE, right, wherever, and double click on that. So it will open there. See, did I install this? Did I install this status? No. What I did was I downloaded the zip file, unzipped it, and I just clicked on what? Data EUSC. EUSC. Not SC. Among SC, is a matter. Many other things. Also, E. Come on, the SC right? SC, no SC. It's B. Right? That's more than good enough, and that's working very well. So it will look like this. And it will first ask to update. If you want, you can update it, of course. This is the original software. So therefore, there is no cracks, no hacks, no virus, nothing. So even if it is downloaded into a office laptop and run, there is no problem. Because why? Then there is no what? Practical laptop of the one state. There are Russian to me. So I had those days used SPSS. In SPSS, there is no original version. That's what? The cracked version. And then those days, we wanted to use that in the labs in the fourth floor of that. Did they allow it to use? No. Why? Why not they don't use it? Because the policy is CS Srilanka, that CS Srilanka, as well as CS Srilanka, not to install what? Cracked software. No cracked software. That's the policy. So in that case, we could not use the labs. But now we can use, but today you cannot use that because some other lecture is going on. If not, we can use the labs to run the system. And the other problem was, most of the students had office laptops. The office laptops, they don't allow to install anything other than what's being installed already. Isn't it? So therefore, as an option, what I thought was, okay, let's give you the most powerful version, which doesn't need to install, but you can run even from pen drive. If pen drives are allowed, it can. So just download this and it will be valid till, I think, it gives the date. This software is valid till this date. And after that, you come back and download the next file and run it again. I'll do the next version. Here you can see it's valid till 9th October 2025. 9th October, correct. And your semester ends when? 13th September, it's over. So by the end of the semester, right, till the end of the semester, you can use that. By 9th or even 1st October, I'll be contacting them and asking the next 6 months license. If you want, you can have it again for another 6 months. No problem at all. And they agreed to do that perfectly. If they don't do that, yes, medicine for that test session. Which I don't like to use some medicine, but again, what to do? For giving you the best, right? But again, I think Galle is a very generous company. They allowed me to use this for undergraduate teaching. That's it. So we don't need to crack. There's no any kind of issues. And even if you are to negotiate with your management over there, and you can give the installation file, but you don't need to. Just download the zip file, unzip that, and double click on what? Data. E-ish, not SE. Right. That's all what you need. Right. Once you install that, and once you unzip that and this we can call this installation. This we call replication. Okay, these are replication of the software. So you can see this is in my name because I registered when I registered that, and you can do that. And it expires in 9th October 2025. You can use it without any issue. So the information is given and the serial number is there. And sometimes it will ask you to update it if you want to update it. But on the other hand, I don't require you to update it because it's well updated. So you don't need to update it. But sometimes it will prompt you to update. You'll say yes. But after that, it will allow you to update. Then you don't click anything. Right here, for example, here it says update to all. Don't click on that. Don't click on update all and read the review. Now let me teach you the SCADA interface. This is called the SCADA interface. When you open Excel, there's an interface for Excel. This is what we call the data interface. Data interface. In this data interface, now let's try to understand what are they. It's very similar to Excel, but it's different from Excel unique. Right? Here we have a window. Window. This window is known as the output window. We are all the output. Statistical analysis tables, graphs, particular tables, and the outputs will be coming up in the output window. So I'm taking also a ticket of penny. When you are going to use that, you see this output window. This is called the output window. That's called out. Then here on the top, you will see the menus. Can you see? File menu, edit menu, data menu, graphics menu, statistics menu, user menu, window menu, help menu. Likewise, there are menus. We are not going to use all menus. Mainly, we have to use two menus out of that. One is indeed the file menu. The file menu we have to use to open files, like in Excel. Then save files, import files. Let's say the data is in Excel. We'll try to import information from Excel to data, which we do everything. But you should have a computer with you next time. At least you go through there. So bring your computers and share with us. As I told you in the beginning, not all required to have a computer. It's recommended to have one, but at least one person, like let's say 3 people, can share. Maybe you might have one computers indeed, but one person can bring that one. Then the next person can bring that his or her computer next to you. And so likewise you can share. And we have two places. Individual assessments on class will be on two places in that case. But on the other hand, if you are going to get that lab, which is very unlikely, right? If you are going to get that, then you can have your own. But this is yet to be, but I think it's unlikely because it's already booked for next 10 years. Unless they are going to expand the computer labs, which of course they are going to do. But yes, maybe a couple of months it will take. So I don't think by the end of this course or during this course, that's possible. So there's rest assured, therefore we manage it what we have. So it will be on group basis you can do that for individual. And regarding the exam, I forgot to tell about that final exam, ESP, end semester exam. Right? At the end of semester exam, what's going to happen? You are going to be given a computer, do all the analysis and get the output. That's the preferred method, but that's not going to happen. Because why? We cannot give you computer. So what we are going to do? What we are going to do is we are going to give you this data outputs. Data. We are going to give this data analysis. We do the analysis for you and we'll give the output. And what you don't need to do is at the exam is to interpret the output. Exam is data in the watch. In some other places, I ask the students to do the analysis, get the output, and interpret the result. It's quite very difficult. For you, it's easy. What we are going to do is we are going to give a scenario and we are going to generate the output and give you the output and ask you to do what? Interpret it. Give the answers. Now, for an example, okay, we will be given a regression analysis and what are the significant variables. I'll teach you what. So you have just referred to the relevant output in the appendix, in the question paper, and answer them. So therefore, at the exam, are you going to use any computers? Are you going to use any computers? It's only the output, as happens. Unless otherwise stated. I don't think maybe 2 or 3 years from now, maybe we have expanded labs, right? And we'll be able to give you a PC and you could perform a computer-based exam. But under the current situation, it's not the case. So good for you, it seems. So you don't need to do any analysis. You'll be given the outputs. Right? So students find it interesting. And you don't need to buy hard a lot of things like digital business strategy. It's like you have to just look at the output, interpret this, which I'm going to cover in the sessions to the later. A to Z, I'm going to cover. And it's only an application of that. Right. So this is what? What the window again? Okay. Output window. Yeah, what the output should become. And generate and I'll show you don't need to do that. Then you can see here, there's a small window here. Within a 40 window of there's a small window, right? That's called the command window. You can write commands if you want. If you want, it's not a must. You can use the menus or you can write the commands if you have time. This is called a command. This is called a command. You can take it up. This is called a command. So here you can type, you can see your cursor is blinking. Assumption that so you can see, you can type commands. You can type commands. And I'll show you today itself. What do the commands do? Right. In R, there is only the command line. R again in the main. In R, you don't have this menus. So whatever using menus, you can run as commands, or as commands, you can run menus as interchange. But once you are an advanced user, you will ditch command what we call the menus, and you will run command. You are an advanced user. But you start from the punch. Then you can see here, there is a small window named as variables. Variables, right, are variables. Now, in a data set, there could be several variables. So, those are indicated over there. Those are indicated over there. Variables. Whether they in data set variables. Now, let's say there are 3-4 variables. Those will be listed. Once you open the data set. Then is there a blank color in because we are not opened any data. Once you open a data set, it will list what are the variables in that data set. Then here you have variable properties. Variable properties. Now, the label of the variable, type of the variable, length of the variable, likewise, variable properties are there. These are not so important, just for info. Then comes this one. This particular, there you have the history. When you run a command, it lists the history. It's called a history window. What are the command as well? It is history. So later on, even you can save it. I'll teach you how to save these commands for later use. That's called history window. History window. History window. History. Right. Now let's open an example dataset. Now it's data. It saves some example datasets. It gives some example datasets with state. Data is called with given. It is an example dataset. अब the aim का open करने की बात. Please take down. Opening, 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 and example dataset. opening an example dataset, opening an example dataset in Stata. In Stata. Opening an example dataset in Stata. We'll see how to open an example data. Now, once we install in Excel, there are no example data. But in Stata, in SPSS, and in some other packages, in statistical packages, they provide example data. A package some other example data. Let me show you. So to open an example dataset, there are different methods, but I'll give you an easy method that you can remember. You can go to File, then ERL. Now, from here onwards, you maintain a notebook and write down the commands. Like you give the topic like that, and then put what small arrows and write down. So, like for example, here you have to File. Right? Then you can say example text. So when you write this, you can write this like this. Menu commands here. So you took down the topic, open an example dataset, then you say File. Example dataset. Enough. Right. Likewise, you can take down the steps and maintain that. Go home and do it again. Right. That's what. Then it should get the practice. Do it again and again and again. Practice makes perfect. Then it says, okay, what are the example datasets? So it gives this information. So example datasets installed with Stata. Right. The example datasets installed with Stata. So then after that, we get example datasets. Datasets installed with Stata. Then it gives a list. It gives a huge list. Example datasets installed with Stata. It gives a huge list. And here you can see, we will select the first one. Auto data. Auto DT. And the extension of a Stata data file is DTA. The Excel file extension is Excel file. Excel SL. Now Excel file extension is this. Now let's say file. The extension is Excel SX. Document file. What's the extension of a document file? DOC or DOCX. Likewise, there are different file extensions. For a data file, the extension is, you can see DTA. DTA. So file name dot DTA. Data. DTA is an extension, is the extension of a Stata data file. Right. Now here you can see the first one is auto DTA. Auto.dta. What's the file name? What's the extension? DT. By looking at the extension, you will be able to tell whether it's a Stata file, whether it's an Excel file, whether it's some other file. So different extensions are there for different. Here is DTA. So you can see the first one that's listed is what? Auto DTA. So you can go auto DTA, then you can extend that. Auto dot DTA. You'll say use. And see, use. Click on use. Click on use. Use click. After that, for the plane. Auto DTA and then use. Auto DTA use. Auto DTA. Auto DTA. What it says is open this file. So shall I click on use? So click on use. Click on click. Click on. So I'm going to click that. Then what happened? You can see immediately it gave a command. This use auto DPA. You don't need to remember that. That's the command state of fast. State command. This use auto.dta. It translates to open this file. You don't need to remember that. Make a mother start. Just remember this. But exam will not become right? In the exam you will be given the output. But for doing the analysis and doing the purposes, for your purposes, you have to remember this file. Menu command. And now you can see under the variables. Can you see variables now? Yes. What are the variables? Make of the car. Auto DT can autos can cars, motor vehicles can about cars. Right? So an old data set in 1978. So this was a very old data set. Even before I was born, it was prepared. 1978. Following that, I don't think anyone here even was contemplating. Right. So here, price of a motor here. Price of a car. The trunk size, weight, length, third, here. Variables here. There are different variables. That are. And you can see here in the history, the first command is listed. What the first command? Use this particular file. History file command is listed. Likewise, if you are going to pass other commands, either through the command window or as a menu item, it will be listing over there. Now let's see how to use the file. This right now. Now this is how you open a system file. System data set open the open it. Okay. Number two. Within the contents, within VIT, within the contents of a data file, within the contents of a data file, using viewing the contents of a data file using the data editor window. Using the data editor window. Contents of a data file using the data editor window. Now, it is the second thing what we are going to do. First thing what we did, we opened the system file. What was the system file name? Auto DT. Is it clear? Now, next week I'll teach you how to open other files as well. Not only open, I'll first we'll create a new file instead. And then we'll open that and do different things. But today I'm going to give you a basic taste of state. Right. Second thing what we are going to do is we are going to view now the content. Then the file is payload. Can you see the file? No. Can you see the content of the file? What's the price of the motor vehicle? What's the weight of the motor vehicle? Is it visible? No. Now we are going to check that. For that, to view view the content. You must hear that. The make of on the minimally would online cut in page. Example, online cut in page, we get a put up and a found example page. Online is not a data. And the open. Now, let's say, right. View of file. Viewing a data file. Now, you have to open the data editor field. You have to open the data editor. Make open करना difficult. There are two ways that you can. One, you can use the browse command. Browse. Other one is called the edit command. Browser का use करना होगा, edit command का use करना होगा. Either you can use the browse command or the edit command to see the file content. In browse, you can only browse. Only browse. You cannot edit the content. You can just see, observe. Edit for another. Data for another. You cannot take data. Only browse can't change. Change. Can't change. You can't change. But edit command can change. Date. Can change it. Can change it. You can change data without edit. So in browse command, the command is right. The command is browse. Just browse. All simple. And it's SE. Browse. 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 In here, the command is edit. All simple, edit. Did you understand? Now let me summarize again. Now, if you want to see the contents of a data file that you just opened, right? You have to use what window? There is a data entry. I told you that there are two ways that you can see that. What are the two ways? Either you could browse it or you could do what? Edit. What's the difference between browsing and editing? Browsing means you just want to see that. You don't want to make any changes. Editing means you want to change contents. Right? You want to change contents. Now I'll show you how to use both of these methods to check to see the data that we open. What's the data file we open? Auto DTA. Motor vehicle. Right. Now still we did not see any data. We saw the variables were there, but we did not see what's inside that file. Now I'm going to show you how to say check. Right? Okay. So let's go back to my screen again. Little bit complex, but again, that's not too complex. Let's go to my screen again. Okay. How to get it done? It's very simple. Here is the command line. Let's pass on one command. We command line indicate. How to type? We'll type here. Browse. We go here. And we'll type BROWSE. Right? You can take down that. That's what I wrote. Browse. Browse carefully. So everything what? Simple and it's not isn't it's SE. Browse. Right? Browse is all simple, no spaces, nothing. Browse just in simple letters. In data, all commands are given in this way. Right? All simple letters, no capitalization. You don't keep spaces, you just type browse. That's all. You want to browse, so just type browse and hit enter. Then enter. Now hit enter. Hit enter. Oh. Immediately comes the data editor window. I told you to view the data, you need the data editor window. I told you two ways you can bring that. One, browse command, the other one is edit command. Now you are using what? Browse command. Can you see the contents? You can see make. Open, Regal, Rivera, Elcard, my God, Impala. So these days we have Toyota and other kind of cars. Now these are the American cars that could be seen only in museums. Then you can see price. MPG. Likewise, all the variables are there. Right? Now can you see the file contents? Now this is the function. In Excel, you can just open the file, but in Stata, you go to the main that window, which we call the Stata main window, and you give the browse command to see the contents once you open a file. File open content balance, data editor. You have to go to data editor. Is it clear? Simple thing, isn't it? But now, if I want to change data, someone may data want to change her on it does it? No. Shall I try? I'm going to try again. I think now, the campus there, make up other. It was a question. You know now, when errors are done, usually what happens is error messages come in that particular university. What they are here, they have put a mechanical arm to the girl. When error is done, a slap is administered. Right? It was a mobile today. Because session activity of ambulance again and Butika. It's a joke. Right. Let's now try to make a change. Now let's say for an example, for the first one is 22 mpg. Let's try to make it 40. It is did it make it 40 and then type for 40? It doesn't do it. Why? Because it's a browse mode. As we put down earlier, in the browse mode, it can only browse content. You cannot change content. Right? Is it clear? Right. But on the other hand, you don't need to do this, but I will show you the edit now. Now you can close this. This is a window that you open to see the data. So you can close this window, you can use this over here, and you can close it. You can close it. You can close this window, not Stata, you close the data editor window. Right? Now you can see browse key and command at the top. Can see that. Browse also has all the commands that have been used will be listed over there. Here are commands, take it listed on whatever it is, either through menu or through the command. We will list all the commands that we have asked for that. And later on, if you want, you can save those commands to later in this way. Want to do it and I am teaching that way. Now let's say I want to not only browse, my intention is not to browse, but to change, to edit. Then what you have to use? Edit command. I told you that there are two things. Can you read in that diagram? Browse and what's the other one? Edit. For this one, you can then pass edit. You go over here and you press, you type edit. All simple again. All simple again. Edit. EDIT. All simple again. EDIT. And hit enter. That's all. In status, commands are very, very simple. PRWC. Edit. EDIT. No big deal at all. Edit. And hit enter. Enter. So now again, the same, but the data editor window stops. And here you can see again it's there. Now let's say I want to go 22 and make it 40. Can you see whether it will allow me to do that? Yes, it allowed me to do that. I made it 40. Why is that? Earlier, why it did not allow me to do? Because I used only the view mode. That's called browse mode. Now I use what? The edit. So if you want to edit data, use the edit. Why is there? I give a feature of edit. In Excel, there is no feature like this. Unless we have not enabled editing, right? When you start it. Once you download and sometimes it doesn't allow you to straight away do the editings in Excel. But in Stata, it's very careful because there can be inadvertent deletions. Sometimes inadvertently you might change data. But in editing, you don't allow to change client. When we use CATs, computer assisted audit techniques, we usually don't change data of facts. We only browse it and do our own manipulation. So that feature is there, security feature is there. Browse command will only allow you to browse, view. But on that, if you really want to edit, you can use the edit, right? So now you can make an editing, and of course, after doing the editing, you can close this. You can close that. And it says what source editor. That's also a command. To change is also command. They change command. So we call that the replace command. You don't need to know that. ඒව මතක තියාගන්න කිසිම දෙයක් අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. මතක තියාගන්න ඕන මෙතන එකම දෙයක්. what's that? edit කියන වචන හතරයි, browse කියන වචන පහක්. Right. That's all. වචන නෙවෙයි. Just 5 letters and 4 letters. If you want to edit, use edit. If you want to browse, use browse. That's all. To see or to change the contents of the file. Is it clear? Now go home and do this. When you come next day, please practice this. Please practice it, then only you will get it. You won't be able to do it. Right. Any questions? So next day, please bring your computers and we'll see how to create a data set in data. Right? That's what I will do next. Right. So bring your computers and we'll see how to use data in the class itself. But for all of you, I highly recommend do what? Practice this at home. You might not be able to bring a computer to here. Indeed, I understand that. But practice this. If not, you will forget. Right. These are the usual things that you do. So they are practice. Any questions? So I told you few commands now. What are the commands that I told you? One, I told you how to open a file. Open a file. Then I told you also how to view the contents of the file. Right? Is it clear? So likewise, now next week what I'm going to do is just to give you an idea about that. And also, I'll also now teach you how to calculate those basic computation and that we can take your attendance afterwards, right? So now let me also teach you a small basic command on generating the mean value. So please write down. Calculating the mean value, calculating the mean value of a variable, calculating the mean value of a variable. So I teach this again, but for the interest of you, let me now teach you how to calculate the mean value of a variable. Now let's say there is price variable. Can you say price of a motor vehicle is $18? Price of a variable. Let's say I want to calculate the mean value or the average value of the price variable. As I could remember, there were 17 motor vehicles in this database. I want to take the total of the prices of those 78 motor vehicles and divide it by 78. Then I get what? The average price. And the average price of a motor vehicle in America in 1978. Right? Okay, how to do that? So you can take down these steps. Right? Now we are going to go to the statistics because it's a statistic. Go to statistics. So write down statistics and then put a small arrow. And then go to the next one, which is summaries, tables, and tests. right? Statistics කියලා කියන පොඩි ඊතල එකක්. ඊට පස්සේ summaries, tables and tests. Then go to other tables. Right? Other tables. Let's see. Statistics, summaries, tables, and tests. Then go to other tables. Then finally go to compact table of summary statistics. Compact table of summary statistics. Compact table of summary statistics. Again, let me tell you. You will go to statistics, summaries, tables, and tests. Then other tables. Then what? Compact table of summary statistics. Did you take up? And then what you need to do is you will click on that and rest is simple. Okay, it will ask what the variable you want. So you just click on this drop down, it will give you all the variables that are there. So I'm going to select price. So from the drop down menu, select price. Drop down, price. Best price. Right. First one is price. So I'm going to select price. So just click on that, it will open price. You can say you need plan to create average value overall, but you can select price. And then statistics to display. There's statistics to display. You select price here, or even if you want, you can type it. Price is all simple, you can just type price here. Then statistics to display, click this one, me. Mean is the average value. Me. Right? So I selected a price, then statistic to display me. Just tick me and just press OK. And after that, you can press OK. Right? Price. Then tick me. Select me, but you have to tick that. Me. Now, what are the standard deviation, part and everything you can take that. But you can take me for the time. Right? Then press OK. Can I press OK? Okay. It gives what? Price. The knee value is $6,165. For these motor vehicles, right? That's the average price. For these 78 motor vehicles, the average price is $6,165 in 1978. Now it should be very much higher than that. Indeed. But I hear that in those countries, for $10,000 or $15,000, you can buy a used car. In Sri Lanka, why can't we buy a used car? Because of taxes. So I hear that sometimes when we bring a motor vehicle from Japan, it's taxed 300%. So they think I'll keep their country. But so yes, we have to be concerned about that asset, and we need some time to give these people. I think they are doing a very good job. Everything under control, but let's see. Let's wait. Right. 6,165 mean value. That's the mean value. So likewise, this is only one thing I showed you, how to create functions, how to generate descriptive statistics, how to generate an average value, the average value of the mean value. And for today, next day I'll teach you a lot of other things, right? And here you can see that command is also given. Actually, we use the tabstat command. Tabstat command is what we do. Tabstat, the variable, and under statistics, we are to. Don't worry about that. You don't need to remember any command. Only up to now, I asked you to remember only Two commands only. What are those? Very easy two commands. Edit and browse. That's it. Any other commands we don't need to remember. And for the exam, even edit and browse is also not required. Because at the exam, you'll be given what? Will be output together. I'll be giving this output. Okay. And I'll ask you to interpret it. And what you need to do is, okay, the average price of this set of motor vehicles is $6,165. To write that, you get full marks. Likewise, at the exam, you are going to be given the outputs and then interpret the result. Right? I won't ask you to do the analysis. Okay, so that's what I want to discuss with you for the next things that I'm going to do. You need to have computers at least as good. So please bring your computers next time. We'll do hands-on and I'll teach you how to create a data set in Stata next week. First, we create that in Excel, and then let's see how to import that into Stata. Okay. And you will understand all kinds of analytics. Like I'll be starting with creation of data sets. Then after that, I'll be going to descriptive statistics, correlation, regression, t-test, one and all, likewise we'll keep again. And then afterwards, I'll go to a different software called Smart Data, which can do any kind of statistical modeling. Like intricate modeling, mediators, moderators, those kind of things. Right. So that's what we are going to do. So thank you. And now let's take attendance. Okay. And today we will finish little early because we don't have the content. Any questions before? Attendance is any questions here? Any questions, concerns? Is it clear? So what you need to do is stop family practice makes perfect. This study has एक मतलब नीला कंप्यूटर पर आ गया when we can download करेंगे एक इस लैपटॉप पे लगाओ एक तो ऑफिस लैपटॉप also you can just download the zip file and unzip that and run data see the vegan SL master vegan SL right okay right. So let's begin now. I will take attendance. Right, be ready. Attendance. Any questions before this? Is it clear? Close. No. Then that's data finally a good question. So she's asking how to close it. You can just close it. There's no problem. Because it will ask to save the file, but we are not going to save it. If you want to save, you can say save. But here, what we are going to do, we are just close. But if you want to save it, now we did a small change. Then if you want to save it, what you can do is, you can go to file. You can go to file and you can go to save. Excel again, office package again. So if you want to save the contents, you can go to file and save. So why don't you take out? Good question. So saving the contents of a file. Please take out. Saving a state file. 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 So to save a state file, what you do is you go to file, save, file menu, save. So you can save it. So, or you can even make save it. So that's also the one, and it gives a what inside. Do you really need to save it? You say yes. Right. Then that's also a command. Save command. Yeah, that's also a command. So all command actually is the only software I saw that has a proper audit trail. As an auditor, I'm very much interested in what? Audit trail. When I do testing in auditing, I need the audit trail. In Stata, the audit trail is there. The testing is there. Testing trails are. But in Excel, does it record what you do? Yes. Bottom testing. But in Stata, it's a very organized package. It will keep the trail of what's there. Once you save it, now you can exit. So you can just close it if you want, or you can go to file, exit. You can go to file, and you can go to exit. Or you can just close it. Close the main from this one, you can just close. It's a very versatile package, and it will be handy for your undergraduate studies, your master studies, and why not? If you are doing a PhD study also, it will be very helpful. Of course, in your organization to do your analysis, it will be very, very important. And there's very powerful traffic analysis package as well, graphical package as well. So that's what I thought of treating you today. Right? To give you the best. Always I would like to give the best, not some shaky packages, right? Like R yet. R will maybe complex. Okay. Now, thank you for that question. So, any other questions? I think it's a very enlightening question for all of us. So, please do ask questions. Is it clear? Our questions clear? And likewise, we'll be so bring your computers as much as possible. One member, maybe for 3 people, you get together. So it's fine. State of one them state of phone. Virtual computers installed. Data or runs data using virtual computer. Then you can access from any platform. But it's yet not experimental, so we see them. Right. Okay. So we'll now take ahead. So be ready with your phones and give me a moment. I'm going to repeat.